there everyone, and welcome back to another Inspiration Friday with Joy and Fleur. This is our inspiration piece this week, a color board that I created in Pinterest. And that painting that I pointed to in the beginning is what I'm going to be using as my inspiration. This is all about color for me this week. So I pulled out some inks, mint julep, navy, pale tomato, and an old close to my heart color called blush. And what I'm going to do is use those to watercolor over top of this gessoed piece of cardstock. And I'm going to create some color blocking with those four colors. So I'm going to cover the cardstock with gesso using an old gift card, and then I'm going to come back in with my hands and fill in any of the spaces that I left, and also to smooth out the lines left behind by that gift card as well. I'm not wanting full coverage neatly done all the way out to the edges because I want some inconsistency. So I'm going to do a couple of different techniques with the ink, and first I'm going to be wetting the entire surface here. Now that layer of gesso is going to mean that I have some playtime with these inks, and so I'm going to keep the video in normal speed and go through the process of adding color, and then I'll get back into fast forward for the remaining colors on the background. I keep some baby wipes on hand so I can wipe away whatever it is that I need that I don't like. And the baby wipes are really good to have on hand because, again, if you're not liking what you're doing, then you can quickly wipe it away, and because we're working on gesso, it will pretty much remove anything that you have laid down unless it's on an area where the cardstock is still bare. So this is the navy color, and it's looking rather purple just because it is on the white gesso. And I'm using the smooshing technique with some water, and I'm just applying the first layer of color here by adding water to the old packaging with the ink and then tapping it down on the surface. I'm not going all the way to the edge of the paper with each of the inks. I just want a little bit in the center so I can trim down the layout at the end and actually mount it onto another piece of cardstock because of the warping that's going to happen with all of the gesso and the water that I'm adding. So I'm just showing you to wipe away whatever you're not liking, and it will come off. Now, once it's dried on the gesso, it's permanent, but if you get to it before it's dried, then you shouldn't have a problem removing it. So we're going to head back into fast forward and see the remainder of the ink application. So one more time over the process is you add the ink or whatever color medium you're using to some old packaging, add some water, and then flip it over and add it to your project. Very simple, very easy, and it creates a great watercolor look. So now, because the first layer of ink that I added was very light, I'm going to take the ink pads and press it directly onto the cardstock, and then come back in with water paintbrush or my hands and smooth out the color and get rid of the lines of the ink pad, and this will help me get that watercolor look that I'm going for with some darker color. Here's a look at the final background. It has about 3 layers of ink on it, and I did dry it in between each layer. Here are the 3 photos that I'm going to use in a horizontal fashion across the stripes of color. But first we need to deal with the warping. So what I do is roll the paper onto itself, and then I will mount it to another piece of cardstock to flatten it out permanently. So now I'm getting back to the color of this layout, the color inspiration. I store my embellishments in these plastic containers sorted by color, and what I'm going to do is go through each bin and pull out strictly based on color to adhere them to each of the color blocking areas. So I'm not concerned at this point about words or anything like that. I will be later on once I've selected everything that I think that might work. So I've wanted to do a layout like this for quite some time. I've been inspired by Lisa Dickinson, who is really good at creating these rainbow type of layouts. And so this challenge is perfect for that. So here again, I'm just still going through the colors, picking things out, flags, tabs, flare, anything that I can really get my hands on. So I'm not going to bore you with the selection process anymore or the how I adhere everything to the layout. We're just going to jump in after I've adhered everything and get back to the photos and getting everything stuck down. I'm going to fuss around a little bit more with the photo placement, and that wraps up this Friday inspiration with Fleur and Joy. Thank you so much for watching. Please use the link below in the comment section to visit Fleur's YouTube channel. Take care, and I'll see you next time.